Hello and welcome to 250 Reasons to Stay Indoors.
Hosted by a South African Michael Caine.
Now, before we get into the podcast, this contains strong language and opinions and spoilers.
So strap yourself in and prepare for the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Prepared for the podcast, yeah.
As the ant said to God, hello and welcome to 250 Reasons.
Famously, the ant said that to the god.
Yes. 250 Reasons, the podcast where we watch the IMDb top 250 films, watch them based off of a random number generator, say stuff about them, and tell you whether you should be watching them or going home. My name is Jordan.
My name is Keiran.
And this week, we have watched...
No. We're gonna watch.
Okay, we're going to watch...
Yeah.
Really took the wind out of my sails there, Keiran. This week, we are going to watch Yojimbo.
Or
Or
Yojimbo.
Or Yojimbo.
Oi! Jimbo.
Which is 114 on the IMDb Top 250 list, and it came out in 1961.
So, Jordan, do you have a prediction?
I do, but you may go first, sir.
Thank you. I think it's East Asian vibe.
Yes, I would probably agree.
Gonna say Japanese, but that is just my stereotype based on the name, so I really don't know.
Yeah.
Probably it could be anywhere around there. I don't really know anything about that culture or any of those cultures, so I don't really want to guess too much.
Making that abundantly clear.
Yep. But I reckon it's either going to be something like really dramatic, or it's going to be something where there's a bunch of larks and a bunch of fun times.
Right.
I really don't. I know what I don't want it to be.
What?
I don't want it to be an old scary black and white film.
Right.
If it's going to be black and white, I want it to be some laughs.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you?
Again, yeah, East Asian vibes. The name Yojimbo I have only ever seen before in Final Fantasy, a game which I'm sure you've never played.
Okay, tell me about.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I reckon it's going to be about sort of samurai type thing, you know, like quite serious. I reckon there's going to be honor involved. A Yojimbo in Final Fantasy was like a demon samurai kind of dude.
Okay.
So I'm assuming it's going to be something like that, something to do with that, maybe.
Right.
There's not much else to really go on in the title other than that. I feel like you're really upset by the fact that I've said that.
I'm just upset that I might end up watching a really shit kung fu movie.
I don't think it's going to be like kung fu. That's what I mean. I think it's going to be more about like a dramatic telling of the story of a samurai, not like kung fu everywhere. Like there's more focus on the story than the fighting.
Because loads of people are like, "Oh, mate, this kung fu movie is fucking awesome. You should watch it."
You don't like kung fu movies?
I've seen a couple. I've not seen very many, but I've seen one that loads of people are like, "Oh my god, you should watch this film. It's really good."
Which one?
I can't remember. Don't know.
Any guesses?
No.
What was it about?
No.
What happened? Give me something.
There was a woman who she had a lot of hard times training, and it was her dad that was training her or something, and there was a point when I don't know if this was a dream or if this was a film that I watched. Now I think about it more, I think it's what I'm imagining in my head is a cross between a film that I genuinely seen, a dream that I had, and watching you play Overwatch. I think I think I'm getting them all mixed up in my head, and it just ended up being a really shit kung fu movie.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but no, I genuinely remember thinking that after I watched this film, I was like, actually, I don't get the hype, and I don't know.
Okay.
So it's another one of them ones, like with remember My Neighbor Totoro?
Yeah.
With the whole anime thing, I was like, nah, fuck anime.
Yeah.
I think I have this prejudice again. So I have this prejudice against...
Just racist against East Asian things.
No.
No.
Flat out denying that.
Okay.
Because when I wasn't veggie, sushi was fucking awesome. So, you know. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I'm very open for this to be a completely different film than a kung fu movie.
I'm surprised by the kung fu thing. I've got a list of films I can give to you that I think you would particularly would like.
Oh, really?
Not like, oh, do you know that really good kung fu movie like that everyone likes? You should watch this because everyone likes it. Like, knowing you as a person, I can think of at least one that I think you would like based off of what you're about.
Knowing me.
Yeah, knowing you.
Uh-huh.
So, should we go watch the film?
Let's go watch the film. Yojimbo.
Yojimbo.
See you in a bit.
Greetings, and we are back with some fast thoughts.
Let's go.
Okay, I'm starting, yeah? Samurai.
Swords.
Honor.
Eating everyone else's food.
Real tough guy.
Bongos.
Oh, good. Prayer drum.
Biggest fucking claves in the world.
Brothel.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Question it.
Small town stupid fights.
Sake.
A massive hammer.
Bosses.
Ugly people.
Not kimonos, but those kind of gis. You know, lots of them.
Sliding doors.
Good. Sliding windows.
Just loads of wood just around.
Just lots of old guys.
Yeah. Okay, that'll do.
Yeah, I reckon so. So, Keiran, you want to give me your 15-second pitch?
Yeah. I think.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
How confident are you feeling about this one?
Like average. Average confident. Yeah,
Okay.
not amazing, but I think I got this down.
Okay, all right. You ready?
Yeah.
3, 2... Oh, let me just... I accidentally started it. I've got big hands. 3, 2, 1, go.
A samurai walks into this little town and he becomes a bodyguard for one of two different people who hate each other. They're these two people, like clans in this fucking village. Anyway, the only way he can restore peace into this little town is by killing basically everyone, and everyone dies.
15 seconds!
Hey!
I mean, it's 15.9.
Okay.
So if you round up, no. But if you don't round...
If you round down, then yeah. But hey... I mean, I'm kind of ballsed it up halfway through and probably wasted about 5 seconds doing that.
Yeah, that was great. Just everyone dies.
Well, that is all that happens.
Yeah.
That's all that happens. It's just a dumb, stupid...
Oh, I don't think Keiran liked this one.
Stupid film. Oh, okay. Do you want to go ahead with the synopsis?
Don't mind if I do, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So we enter with the samurai, and we're just sort of on his face, and he is like we just see his face, just the face, and he's walking somewhere. He's walking, looking mean and looking important. And then we see him sort of come into this town. Now it's a very empty town. There's it looks very desolate, very black and white.
I mean, the whole film is black and white.
Yeah, but I imagine if the film wasn't black and white, this town would still be black and white. Okay. So we come into the town, and the first thing he sort of goes to is what's it called? Like a little like an inn. Yeah, where he meets the innkeep, who is a grumpy old man who sort of offers him some food and wine if he'll leave. Basically,
yeah.
There's the innkeeper sort of explains that there's a lot of fighting going on in the town. And that he doesn't want to see any more fighting. This guy is obviously, he appears to be a samurai. He appears to be quite a tough guy, and he doesn't want him around here. There's a casket maker next door who's very busy and making lots of money because there's so many people that are dying. We find out from the innkeeper that there's actually two bosses that have come into the town, and they've sort of taken it over. So the mayor is just basically a sniveling little, well, not sniveling, a really weird, smiley, useless little annoying guy.
It's interesting because I think we saw this in two different places. The terms are different. So the word for the mayor that you're saying is the guard. Which is weird.
Okay. No,
and the casket maker is a coffin maker on my one. But it doesn't.
Okay.
It makes no difference.
Yeah, same thing. So yeah, you've got the mayor who's this sniveling little dude, and there's two bosses that have come in. They've sort of taken over by being the sort of
they own territory.
Yeah. So there's one that makes sake, and the other one that
makes the silk.
Yeah, so they own sort of the two main industries. There you go. So they're constantly having sort of fights with each other for sort of the whole territory of the town. There's really not much more to say than that. And it's basically, the whole film is about them sort of fighting over the samurai. So the samurai comes in and they see that he's obviously tough. To first pay for these drinks and this food that the innkeeper is giving him, he's like, well, I'll kill some people and get some money from that. So then he goes and kills 3 dudes. And then like they sort of start bickering between who's going to have him as a bodyguard. Yojimbo, by the way, means bodyguard in Japanese. So that's where the name comes from. So, Keiran, do you want to step in?
Yeah. Now, the film progresses with the either side. Well, one of the sides. So, okay, should we give the names?
Yeah, sure. If you've got the names.
Yeah, so you got, I'm going to hack up the pronunciation, but you got Sibe or Seibe or whatever.
Yeah.
Versus Yushitora.
Nice.
Thank you. And so I can't
Mr.
remember.
Roboto.
I can't remember which side it is that starts it, but essentially one side is like, oh, we should kill the bodyguard because he's just being a hassle and everything.
Yeah, I think it's Sebe, like
and his wife.
Yeah, so
They're
they hire him. Well, they say they're going to hire him, and he sort of like kind of agrees, and then he's sort of walking around and sees they're having like a private conversation where the wife says to Sebe, you know what, we should just, because we've offered him 30
of the currency.
30 of the currency. We should maybe kill him afterwards and then we'll just get it back.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But he's like, he doesn't fall for that and all of this. And anyway, the film carries on with the two halves of this community, whatever, 2 industries, 2 families, whatever, constantly battling against each other. And it's not just them fighting over having the bodyguard, it's also the bodyguard being like, nah, I don't want to be with you because this guy's going to pay me more money, or this guy's less of a prick, or whatever. So he's playing hard to get the whole time. Essentially, he does everything on his own terms. And he develops some kind of moral compass throughout the film, because there's someone who gets kidnapped. This person who's been kidnapped. So there's a man who gambles money. And there's this whole theme in the film of gambling, and people don't like the gamblers.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's kind of irrelevant-ish. It gets brought up a lot, but it's not a big deal. So there's a gambler who has a really fit wife, and he ends up owing money to one of these 2 families, and the guy who's the head of that family kidnaps the wife of this fit wife, apparently. And the old man was like, oh, it's a shame this guy has such a fit wife. If he didn't have such a fit wife, it wouldn't be such a big deal. And it's like, okay. Anyway, the samurai hears about this and he's like, I'm going to save this woman. So he saves this woman, tells the guy and the kid and so that little family to piss off. Here's this money that I just got from the people who are hiring me right now, and go away. Don't come back. Just go away. Just fuck off, and then it'll be fine. Long story short, they end up sending a bloody thank you note to him, and so one of the families finds out that the bodyguard is basically playing them. Yeah. And so they beat up the bodyguard. The bodyguard's in his lowest place right now. Yeah. He's not got a sword. He's got nothing to fight back with.
Mash up.
He's been his face is like, he looks fucked.
Yeah.
At this point in the film, the tensions are rising between the 2 sides, and they essentially start burning down the silk part, and then they destroy the whole sake. All the barrels of sake get poured into the streets, and they decide to have a massive fight. Yeah. Now at this point, the bodyguard is not trying to run away, but he's going somewhere like on the outskirts of this town so he can regain his strength for a few days.
I just wanted to point out that, like, with the whole him releasing the prisoner and all of that, both sides seem to have, well, one side obviously was invested in her. The ones that kidnapped her in the first place, actually, he liked her and loved her potentially. So the bodyguard then said that it was the opposite side who took her and they've kidnapped her, which then causes more tension, which is why things sort of heat up a little bit. Yeah, so
these 2 families, or I'm going to say families, they're not necessarily families, they're like 2...
Dynasties.
Well, they're not that big, but anyway, these 2 halves, they have this face-off where they're like, give us back the woman, and they're like, what woman? We didn't take anyone. And that's when they start to get suspicious of the bodyguard. So anyway, so the bodyguard's mashed up, blah, 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 and the bodyguard goes out to the outskirts of the city to retreat.
Yeah.
And he only comes back to this little town when the person who was bringing him food and medicine isn't there. Instead, this his friend. Is it the coffin maker or is it some
it's
other
the
person?
innkeeper. So the innkeeper,
No.
sorry, yeah, no, it is the coffin maker. Yeah,
So the coffin maker comes this other time and he's like, "What's happened to the innkeeper?" He's like, "He's being like they're suspicious of him and they've like hung him, but not by his neck, just by his arms in the square or something like that." And he's like, "Oh fuck, right, I better go back." So he goes back and he has his dead man sword because they've taken his legit sword. And correct me if I'm wrong, he basically fucks everyone up.
Yeah. No, that's pretty much it. Yeah. He goes back,
including the person. So there's like halfway through the film, there's an inspector who comes, and the inspector eventually leaves. But someone else that comes is this guy with a gun, which is like, whoa,
yeah, he's one of the brothers of one of the like heads of. So he's one of the brothers of the bosses.
Yeah,
one of the bosses. Yeah, one boss has two brothers. He has a stupid one and this smart one that has a gun.
Yeah. But the samurai still fucks up the guy with the gun at the end. The guy with the gun takes 1,000,000 years to die.
Yeah.
But he eventually does. There's only the coffin maker, the innkeeper, and the samurai left.
Yeah.
And the samurai says, "Okay, it's peaceful now. Goodbye." And that's it.
Yeah. And then the film ends.
End of film.
Yeah. So, did you enjoy the film, Kieran?
Fuck no. No, Jordan.
No?
You can't tell me you enjoyed the film.
Ooh.
Did you enjoy the film, Jordan?
No, not really. No.
Oh,
I didn't loathe the film. I didn't hate.
why is this in the top 250? Why? Why is this film in the top 250?
I think it might be another one of those cultural things, Kieran, where for the culture, the time it came out, it's
No, because it's
no.
oh, there's beef everywhere.
So, do you want to just go into beefs then?
Oh, okay. I'll try not to linger or anything for too long.
Yeah.
But it's going to be tricky. Okay, one of my biggest beefs is the music in this film.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, my big beef with the music is that it's so disproportionate to the action that's going on at the same time. So I've written a nice little thing. The music regularly doesn't match the action. Tension music is the worst. So whenever there's like a real tense scene, there's like 1,000,000 face-offs between the two halves of this town. How many times do they meet on the main path, the main stretch, like a square or wherever you want to call it?
That was so annoying.
How many times do they just have face-off after face-off after face-off?
And they'd sort of step forward, and the other ones would step back. And
but then the ones who step back would step forward.
Yeah.
Oh, for God. And they were just all so drawn out. All of them. Anyway, and during these moments of tension, it would be great if the tension was legit tension, where it was just silent or very eerie. But instead it would be like... And it's like, fuck, what is this music?
Yeah.
I mean, the bongo player had a great gig. Like a man or woman on bongos was having a sick time, because I don't know if it was like, yo, improvise the whole thing, or
you're talking about actual bongos. Okay,
no. Come on, we're both drummers. I'm not going to talk about any old drum one. I mean actual bongos.
Okay.
Blip, 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 blip. Blip, 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 blip.
Yeah, they should be called tension drums.
They are tension drums when they're played really well. But, and I mean, the execution of the drums,
bongos in my head
the
now.
technique was great. It was fine, but the place where it was being put, and there was one point where there was like a tension thing later on, and there was a hi-hat that was being played.
Oh my God, and it was out of time.
Oh, it was so out of time! Jordan, it was
I hated
so
it so much.
out of time.
It was just like...
excruciating.
But the hi-hat was like the right pace for
That
the
it was
scene.
It was
but then
fine.
something else came in.
And it was fucking up the time. Why? Why? I'm so angry.
Yeah.
This is part of why I don't understand that this is such a big film. It's because how can any film with such a bad execution of music and just such a bad fucking music score, how can it be in a film in the top 250, Jordan? How?
Okay, tone it down, sir. Gonna need you to just calm down.
I'm taking advantage of the fact that we're sitting in the outhouse and not in the actual house.
I can see that in my log cabin in the Netherlands. It's very, you're just a little bit, I'm getting intimidated. So if you could just...
I'm a scary man.
You're a scary man. I have one note to say about the music, and that was when it first came in, the first thing I thought was like, this is like a Japanese adaptation of 007 music.
Really?
Yeah, it was just like, blam, blam, ba-blum, ba-blum, blam, 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 blam. Yeah, so just a bit of that.
Yeah, I think my notes on the music just got progressively worse. So it started off as just menacing bongo hits. And there was a dog that ran into the square at one point with it was holding a human hand in its mouth. But the music was like blip, 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 blip. It was like so there's like a dog holding hand theme, and it never comes back, obviously, because the dog. I mean, there's no more dogs in the whole film, but it's like there was a specific musical theme for this moment, and there were loads of other specific musical themes that came about. Also, on the topic of music, because this is such a huge beef for me, there's a scene where there's I think it's Sebe's people, right? I don't know exactly. Anyway. And there's a woman, and they're like, yo, chill out with the ladies. And they're like, look at the ladies make music.
It was really cringy, wasn't it?
It was so cringy.
It was a lot of... Only one of them looked like she was into it.
Exactly. And the rest, of them were like, fuck my life. Yeah, exactly. And yeah. And I'm
just
glad.
A close-up shot on their feet as well for a bit.
It was just strange. But they were playing music there.
Yeah.
But so this was like, okay, the music I'm hearing is actually being created inside the scene.
Yeah.
And then there was a point where all of these women, later in the film, where all these women run out of the brothel or whatever place it is, and the exact same music comes back. Have they just all ran out with their instruments and are now playing in the street whilst they're running away from a burning building? It's just absurd. It's just okay. I'm gonna keep going because I could spend all day talking about that.
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
Okay.
One note about the dog. The director challenged all of his assistant directors to come up with an interesting way to show that the bodyguard had entered a bad town. And they all came up with shit ideas, and he went, you know what, let's have a dog with a human hand in its mouth. That'll tell him he's in a bad place.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
My first note on the dog was that the dog looked really pleased with itself.
Yeah, like it was having a great time, just waddling along with a human hand in its mouth.
You don't get hands very often; they're hard to come by.
That's the quote.
There was the scene where he walks into the town, and like when he first goes to kill those three guys, and it's the first time you see like sort of the bad guys, and there's this one really huge dude, isn't there? That's he's got a massive hammer, and he's just like, he must be like 7'5" or something.
He's fucking
like that.
massive.
And there's like a look that the bodyguard gives him, and it's just sort of a like, how did you get that big? Like, just looks at him like, how did... Really?
That scene also annoyed me because it was so obvious how they positioned the people and how the bodyguard was deliberately not looking. It wasn't as if he was deliberately not looking at him. It's like the way that he looked around at all of these people.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, how can we make it so that the last person he looks at is the really tall person?
Yeah.
It's bollocks, because when you look at the crowd of people, the first person you see is the massive guy. It's not as if he just turned up out of nowhere. He was there the whole fucking time.
That scene was quite important to me because that set up the disappointment that was to follow.
Why?
Because I've seen many martial arts, fighting kind of film. At this point, we hadn't seen any combat or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, what kind of film is this going to be? I know it came out in 1961, so it may be limited in senses. Mm-hmm. So when he first sees all these bad guys and they circle him, I'm like, oh, ho, 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 ho.
It's about
here
to go
we
down.
go. Yeah, here we go. Nice. This is going to be good. I can't wait to see what they do with this and how the combat's going to look in this film.
Yeah.
And he just walks off. And it's like, he just came in, got circled by them, walks around, looks at them all, sizes them all up, and then just walks off, and they're like fine with that. I was just like,
that's apparently his thing, is that he goes around and he looks intimidating, but he doesn't do anything.
Well, yeah, but then you see him when he actually is fighting, and he can do some fucking crazy shit. Like, I mean, not actually fucking crazy shit. It doesn't look that incredible because
visually, that's another thing.
The combat was really, really disappointing.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, precise maybe. I mean, like if you want to look at it from a realistic perspective, then maybe that's like someone that was that good could just like cut someone down in one slice. And it was very precise movements. Like very trained, very like.
I mean, that's the point. But you do want it to be a bit more.
But there was nothing.
Exciting.
There was no like jumping off of stuff. There was no. I mean, yeah, we have to give it its due because it came out in 1961, and I do think that has something to do with how much acrobatics and stunts there can be.
Yeah, I
but
guess.
At the same time, no. It was very uninspiring to watch the fights, and that was the only good part of it.
Yeah. I got one of my other big beefs is that apparently it's a thing that the bodyguard can just go anywhere and eat everyone's food.
Right. I mean, what kind of town is this?
All he does for the first hour is just go places and eat
money.
Exactly, because everyone's just given food to this guy.
It's just like he just walks in, and first off, this innkeeper has just like he doesn't know him at all. He's a complete stranger.
His son's just abandoned him as well.
No.
Different person.
Yeah, different.
Okay, sorry. Go back to you being angry. I'll just remove that in my head.
You really derailed me,
Shit,
Keiran.
I'm sorry. I was gunning for you.
He comes in. This dude, the stranger, who looks proper tough,
doesn't even know him.
And the innkeeper's just like, here, have some free stuff. And he's like, and he even knew that he was not going to have any money because he's like, oh, by the way, and he's like, don't tell me you've got no money. It's just like. Why? Why are you giving this guy free food? You've just explained that there's no, like, the business is bad because it's only, like, the casket maker's making all the money because so many people are dying. There's not enough people.
He's so self-entitled and rude. Everywhere he goes, he's just like, drink. Or he's like, give me some hot food.
Yeah.
And it's like fucking everywhere. And every single time he's negotiating...
What happened to manners?
See, simple manners go a long way. And every single time he's negotiating a price, which he does all the time. This is more of a business film than it is... a business film than it is anything else. because he's... Every single time that he's speaking to one of these people, he's just munching food all the time.
Yeah.
This is just like a...
Did this film make you want to drink sake?
No.
I mean, you don't really care about drinking in general, but...
No, I don't know if I've ever had sake.
Have you ever had it?
Is it like...
It's rice wine.
I'd be interested in trying rice wine.
Yeah, I've tried it maybe twice now, and both times I've been bitterly disappointed. Oh. It looks like something I'd enjoy drinking, though. They like heat it up, don't they? And then he like takes it out of like the little cauldron, and then he's sipping it on like it's like a flat shot glass or something.
So
it's
like
kinda...
mulled rice wine.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm
looks
involved.
cool, but in realization, in reality, it doesn't taste that great.
One of the eating scenes were kind of funny because you could tell that he just wanted to eat all the food before the scene ended. He was really shoving it in his mouth.
The rice bowl, yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
He was just eating all the food. Okay, next thing. Why did they give all the interesting storyline stuff for the innkeeper to say and make a lame job of every other scene? So it felt like, at least in the first hour, everything that was interesting, all the drama that might have happened, we were caught up on by the innkeeper. So at the start of the film, the innkeeper was like, "Oh yeah, here's the deal with this town." So it's like him telling the samurai is really obviously telling the audience as well. This is what's going on.
It's kind of a show me, don't tell me situation is what you want from that. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. And so, but then the thing that bugs me about it is that they replaced all of the interesting drama scenes with boring negotiation scenes.
No.
What? What?
I liked that. The first negotiation scene I really liked.
Well, okay. The first one was fine, but it was just that it kept being the same thing.
Yeah, it was basically just like, come and work for me. No. Come and work for me. No. Come and work for me.
And that's
no.
all.
Come and work for me. No.
And then?
Come and work for me. Okay.
Yeah, and it just continued like that. And
I just want to give a description of that first negotiation because I loved it. It was like, so he goes to Seibe, and Seibe's like, okay, I want you as my bodyguard, because this is when he's first like, I'm going to kill some people. He kills the people, and he's like, look, this is what I'm worth. I'm obviously really tough. Hire me to be your bodyguard. It's like, and so the bodyguard's like, make me an offer. He's like, 3 of the currency. And he's like, goodbye. And just gets up and starts walking off and doesn't say anything. And Seb is like, 5 currency, 7 currency, 8 currency. And he's just like, no. He's like, gets up to 6 or something. And he's just like, put a 0 on it. And he's like, 10 currency, 20. And like eventually gets to 30. And he's just like, okay.
It reminds me of in There Will Be Blood. When the guy's like, I want you to come to my church. And Daniel Day-Lewis is like, I will pay you so much money. Get out of my face. That whole thing.
I do love a good negotiation.
You do like a good negotiation.
Because I can't negotiate, so I just love to watch someone do it really well.
Man, it really surprises me that you don't negotiate, because your dad is a haggler.
Yeah, I didn't
all.
inherit that like silver tongue sort of thing, that the gift of the gab. I didn't get that.
A lot of French marketplace thing that happens there as well.
Is it? Yeah, it just I can't do it.
Intimidates me.
We'd be on holiday, and I mean it's a bit of a sidetrack, but we'd be on holiday, and I remember once like my dad was buying me a watch or something that I wanted. It was like my birthday or something like that. Right. And and this happened often. He'd start haggling. Me and my mum would just leave because we're just that embarrassed by how awkward it was. It's just like, so I know you're going to give me this for free, aren't you? Oh. It's like, Dad, stop it, please.
I just remember, my mum was like, no, you can do it. You go haggle. Because my mum's.
But please don't make me haggle.
No, my mum's decent at it, and she's polite. And if someone's not giving her the offer she wants, she'd be like, okay, thank you. And then she walks off, and so the guy is always like, Madame, come back, and all of this. Anyway, but so I was like, how much is it? 15 euros. And the guy's like, yeah, 15 euros. Oh, how about it for 10? 15 euros.
That's no.
Okay, here's 15 euros.
15 is how much
the worst negotiation.
Oh
ever.
Yeah, I did one once. What was it? I was in Broadstairs for the Broadstairs Folk Festival. It was the first time I'd ever gone. I was really excited. Shut up. I like me some folk.
Okay.
They're good people. So I was buying a poncho, and it was in a marketplace. Like I was young. I was buying a poncho, and it was a marketplace sort of thing. It was definitely a haggling situation, right? Okay. I walked up to there. I was like, how much are those ponchos? She said, £30. I went, here you go. There was like not a chance. I was just like, £30? That sounds awful. Here it is.
That's brilliant. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
My last beef is that in the final scene, the guy with the gun gets fucked up by the samurai and takes just so long to die, and everyone else dies in a second.
It's painful, isn't it? It's so ridiculous. It's so drawn out.
Just come on. It was so frustrating. I watched this in 2 stints. I was half an hour in.
It's totally acceptable because this film was hard to watch. It was another one of those ones where it's like you check your phone. It's like, how long has this been? It's been half an hour.
Exactly. I was involved with it, and I was watching it for a while.
Yeah.
But as soon as the film started, I thought, okay, this is going to be a rough time, and it kind of escalated from there. In as much as I was just hating it.
Yeah.
And I was also tired. So I started watching it, and then I reviewed it the next day. And then I had a full hour. I was like, it's not even like an hour and 20 or something. It's just an hour.
Yeah.
I'm willing for this film to be good. I am so ready for this film to be good. Like, come 20 minutes into that, it started getting interesting when he got fucked up and everything.
Yeah.
And he showed like a different side to his character, and I was like, yeah, I'm involved. But then it just went back to the same shitty self.
Yeah,
and
I think
just
that was
lost it.
When he was like beaten up, that was the first time we actually saw some stakes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's
like, there was nothing.
Wait, he might not get through this.
Why are we even watching this? Like, what's going on? Nothing's happening. He's just bartering between 2 towns. A town that we don't really care about. A town that's like just already fucked up anyway. Like, he got here, it was shit, and it continued to be shit. Like, he was sort of trying to maybe make it better, but you don't really know if he really cares. Like, why are you here? So it's just like, we're just sitting here watching this happen in front of us.
It was only interesting when he showed his emotional vulnerability with saving the people.
Yeah, exactly. We're like okay, stuff. Actually, you know what? This guy is a nice dude, and then he gets beaten up, and then we're like, okay, right, fuck. He's in a tense situation here. He's trapped. How is he going to get out? Like, what's this? And then they fucking leave a chest in the place where he is locked up. Right. They leave a chest in the place where he's locked up, and there's a bolt on this chest.
Which isn't locked, apparently.
The bolt isn't bolted. And he just climbs into the chest. They come into the room and like, he's gone. Where
Would
has he
they not
gone?
notice that the bolt is off the chest, Jordan?
Where has he gone? Why?
Where could he possibly go?
Let's not search the room. Let's leave. Quick.
And so, obviously, he makes his escape, therefore.
Fucking idiots.
Oh, for God's sake.
Fucking idiots.
So, and my last beef, okay, I said that that was my last beef. It's just a final point. He said, and now the town's peaceful. Well, of course the town's peaceful because there's no one there. Like, everyone's dead.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, great, my work is done. What? No. Do you have any more beefs?
Bam, 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 bam. Like, just more of that music as he walks out. Like, that's what I mean. It's just like, okay.
No credits, by the way. No end credits sequence.
Same, I noticed that. I was like,
there was quite a lot of credits at the start. I mean, well, an average amount.
Often when a film is like long and I'll look at the time where I am.
You're expecting there to be,
and if it's, I'm like, oh God, there's another like hour and 20 minutes. At least it's only going to be like maybe an hour and 10 because there's 10 minutes of credits or something.
But no,
it was just like, that's fully what you've got left because there's no credits.
Yeah. It was, fuck me.
So have you got any like...
Bits and bobs?
Yeah.
Yeah, chin scratching. That's something that I didn't... Did I say that in the fast thoughts?
I don't think so.
There was so much chin scratching when he was like...
Yeah.
First of all, he doesn't have enough beard to really warrant that much chin scratching. I don't know,
because once you've had enough beard for that, it's kind of something you never really lose.
Okay, but it just felt like every time he was doing it, it was like, so this is a negotiation right here. And the guy's like, yeah. Okay, so because it's a negotiation, you should be thinking a lot. Okay, so you want me to do the chin scratching again? Yeah. If you could do that, that'd be great. Okay, cool. I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And so it's like a thing. It looked like GCSE drama. It was just.
Ooh, that was a low blow.
Yeah, because all of his acting in those points were boring.
Yeah.
It was only interesting when, like we said earlier, he showed his vulnerability and it was cool. Other bits and bobs, the person who's the guard or the mayor or whatever he is, his job is essentially to be a fucking numbnut and to announce things like the time. So he announces when it's midday.
Oh my God, yeah.
And the way he does this is he gets these two massive planks of wood, which they're not just planks of wood, they sound like claves. So
yeah, that was the one bit that I found interesting, to be honest, because it's something I've heard often from like Eastern Asian music, and I've always wondered where that sort of noise came from. I always thought it was sort of like a rim shot of a drum or something.
Right.
But it actually turns out it's like clave.
So for those of you who don't know, a clave is two identical pieces of wood that, when banged together, they form. Usually in Cuban music, so a clave is Spanish for key, and so the rhythm is the key to the music, blah, blah, blah. And so this rhythm repeats and is played on these two identical pieces of wood.
Okay, but it makes a noise. It's like clung, clung.
Precisely. So
wooden.
But these massive pieces of wood, these were huge pieces of wood. Like these are, but it's like long, twice or three times as long as a brick, and one in each hand. And he smacks them together. His ears must be shot, and he screams like, "Midday!" And he turns around, clang, 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 midday, and then goes back into his place. That's all his job is, and that's just dumb. So much stupid stuff. The guy who has two brothers, and one of them is the clever one with the pistol, and the other one is the dumb one. The dumb one is just super ugly and stupid.
Yeah, I felt like that was some sort of, when you have in theatre and stuff like that, you have a traditional character that's brought in, like the town fool or something. There's a traditional way that person is portrayed, and
like
stuff
in a
like
pantomime kind of thing.
Yeah, I felt very much that kind of vibe. Like I felt like that's probably something that is in a lot of those kind of films or something like that. Someone that just is made to look stupidly ugly and stupid.
Yeah. And it was just
annoying.
like a caricature, and it was just
yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
So, I think essentially every man has a top knot.
Yeah, pretty much, isn't it?
Which is fine, and it seems like fine with that's indicative of the culture.
Yeah.
So every time I've seen a top knot, it's tied up with a little hairband.
Yeah.
How'd you make hairbands back in the day?
It could have just been rope, no?
But you reckon it could have just been like really thin string? Because it's tied up like pretty tight, and I would have thought that you'd need. I don't know.
When was elastic created? That's the question, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I don't think they had
Rubber
elastic.
and Elastic isn't that old. But when was this film set? We don't necessarily know.
I wouldn't be surprised
We
if
know
it was
that there's
set like
guns,
in the 60s.
so it's not that.
But I don't know how prevalent guns might have been. And
No, it was just a simple sort of revolver, so it's hard to really pinpoint, I think. But I would say that Elastic and Rubber probably isn't around. So
do you reckon it was like a little piece of string?
But the thing is, right? Yeah. Well, this is a hairstyle that you can see in quite a lot of like Japanese, Chinese art throughout years.
So it's been around.
It's been around. They figured out how to do it before there was.
Oh shit!
Like,
Do you reckon they did it
elastic
with reeds? Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, silk was quite a thing back then,
That's a
wasn't
good
it?
point.
Maybe tiny little silk strands and stuff like that. You know, the oligarchs will always find out a way.
Yeah, the psychic arcs
made with the spines of the peasants or something.
There you go. Yeah, that was just a curious question I had. So
Yeah.
that's all. And that's
Okay.
the one point where I was like, and every other time was like, in this film.
Things that make you go,
Yeah. Do you have any bits and bobs?
No, I mean, that was pretty much it. I thought that it was an interesting... I haven't seen many martial art films like this. So as samurai is like quite an old thing, isn't it? Like having samurai, they used to be around quite a while back. Having a gun introduced to this situation, something I don't think I've actually seen before in a film, where it's like sword fighting, and then like an Eastern Asian film with sword fighting and martial arts and all of this.
Yeah.
And then just one person has a gun.
Well, that's the thing. It kind of puts the whole thing into jeopardy. It's like, oh, here's someone that's more powerful than
I think
than
they
the samurai.
relied on it a little bit too much to sort of help it
Create drama.
yeah, like it was too useful a tool for him to have. You know, it was like lazy writing almost. Like he just had a gun and like that was like, well, I'm a super tough guy. Well, I've got a gun. So what are you going to do? Well, actually, what I'm going to do is just sort of do a little quick dodge, a little sidestep, and then throw a knife at your hand.
That was kind of cool.
It was kind of
Like
cool.
that.
Yeah. I don't think he would have dodged him before. Like there's a scene in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't know if you've watched it.
You used to play it a lot when you were little.
Okay, so there's a scene where the two characters, Mac and Charlie, are having this debate where a gun versus a sword. And it's like, Mac has got the sword, and he's like, well, I'll be able to dodge because I'm too quick. And Charlie has the gun, and he's like, okay, we'll try and dodge. And as he's dodging, Charlie's just moving the gun left and right, and it's like, well, he's just moving the gun left and right, and he's like, well, there you go. Literally, it's not even difficult. I can literally just like, and this gun has what? It's a revolver, so it's gonna have at least 6 bullets. It's like, well, even if I miss a couple of times, still gonna get a couple of shots off. You know, I mean, yeah, fair enough. He was obviously good with the throwing knife. He had to practice like a couple of days. So
he practiced by throwing the knife at a leaf, right? And that was the identical same shot every single time he threw that knife. It was the same shot, and to me, even someone who isn't nitpicky,
it really looked like the knife was guided by a rope. It didn't feel like a natural.
I mean, the leaf was also guided by some kind of string as well. It must have been, because it went the same place both times.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Nah, so fucking.
So, if you could be someone, Keiran, who would you be?
Oh, I reckon I'd be the bodyguard and just make a decision way quicker.
Yeah.
Because I reckon that would just help us get to the root of the problem. Or instead, I would...
It's another one of those situations where we want the film to end faster,
yeah,
isn't it?
exactly. Because the whole thing could have... And there was nothing gained by the first hour being so drawn out. There was nothing gained from that. There was no ramping up of drama or of relations being built stronger, because there were no relations or anything between anyone.
Yeah.
It was just him and the old man. If the old man was killed, I would have been like, oh, that sucks, because I kind of liked the old man by the end of it.
Yeah.
That was it. That's the only person I was rooting for. So I would just be the samurai and just get the thing over done with.
Okay.
You?
I would be the guy with the gun.
Okay.
And I would shoot the samurai.
And just be done with it.
Way earlier. Yeah. So there's a point where they actually sort of hire him, didn't they?
Yeah.
And he expresses that he can't really be trusted. The guy with the gun is like, you can't really trust this guy. We don't really know what he's going to do. Like, we don't know anything about him. If I was you, I wouldn't do this. I would just shoot him then.
He's
And
clearly like out of everyone. The
he's
guy
the
with the
smart
gun
guy.
is the
He's
most
the
well
smartest
advised.
one. Yeah. There's multiple situations where you find like you think that, well, if the smart guy was there with the gun, he wouldn't be getting away with this.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I would be the guy with the gun, and I would just kill him probably as soon as I first met him, because like he's like, this guy's pretty tough. Oh, he does look pretty tough actually. Tell me more about this guy. Well, he's come and we've tried to hire him as bodyguard, but he keeps sort of going between us and Sebe. So, really? Is he not? He's not with us? No. Oh, okay. I'm just going to kill him then.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
just going to shoot him
This
now.
guy's a fucking liability, so I'll just get rid of him.
Yeah, exactly. Job
And then,
done.
and then that would just
And then they could just
would been
continue to
sorted.
war on
Unencumbered.
uninhibited. Yeah.
Oh, I think we said basically the same thing.
Yeah. So you got anyone to bring in?
I had a really good one.
Yeah. I can go if you want.
You go.
Yeah. Mr. T.
Oh, shitting hell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's different.
No, you're not feeling it?
I just don't really know much about Mr. T.
Okay. The only reason why I want to bring Mr. T in is because I think that his squints would hold up with the rest of the guys. You know, like...
Whoa, is this because they're Japanese, Jordan? Are you being
No,
racist?
no, Kieran.
Wow, you're so racist.
No, Kieran. No.
Okay.
Don't.
Explain
You're
to me.
the
Get
racist
yourself
one.
out of this racist hole that you're in.
There's a lot of showdowns,
Yeah.
and there's also a lot of sun. And they're like staring at each other in the midday sun.
Okay.
And they're sort of, you know, facing off, and there's a lot of squinting and a lot of like, I'm a pity the fool who would step forward because then I'll step back. But you know,
Yeah.
but Mr.
Yeah.
T would just stand there with his feathers in his ears and his chains, and just stand there and just like he would not move back. You know?
Yeah.
Would-
He'd actually
would
stand
just
his ground.
yeah.
And he would just be the person with
a
the
lot of
biggest
pointing,
balls.
a lot more violence, like not violence as in violent, but you know, a lot more aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Whereas these guys were sort of like, oh, I'm scared.
Just
Okay, go.
tentative because they had no
No,
gonads.
Mr. T, come in there and just sort it out. Just sort it out. Maybe even just like fix the issues. You know, like I can imagine Mr. T would be quite a good person to come in and resolve conflict.
Exactly.
Through his aggressive and his it's not really charisma, is it? It's like it's just fear.
Yeah.
Like he'll just come in and just be like, right, you've got the silk, you've got the sake, you both got different things. Just fucking don't even worry about it. Look, you go stay there, you stay there. If I hear a fucking word, I'm coming back and I'm gonna fuck you all up.
Yeah.
And then he'd drive away in his tank.
Right, okay, I see. It's difficult because I don't know what else I can add apart from that exact same thing. But like in some ways, I kind of want a bit more interesting fights or something. So I guess like someone who does good kung fu.
Yeah, like a Jackie Chan or something, or Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say Jackie Chan or something like that, but then at the same time, I don't feel like anything is really added. You know what would be good?
What?
Clearly,
Okay.
again, Daniel Day-Lewis is brilliant at negotiating.
Yeah.
So he would know how to lay a deal.
I heard you had some oil.
So sake.
Tell me more about this sake business.
Exactly. So first of all, in terms of like, so the beef is within the territory, right?
Yeah.
His whole game is buying people's territory.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't need anyone to be killed. He'd just take care of all of that thing.
Yeah.
So and then he would come into that place, and he'd say, "I'm an oil man," and then they'd be
A
like,
lot of guys will come around here and tell you that they're oil men, but they're not real oil men. You see, they don't have the same stuff that I've got.
exactly, and they would be like, and he'd say, "Well, I see that you're dealing in sake and silk. Well, it is mighty honourable. Now the thing is I would like to buy everything." And then they'd probably be like, "Oh, we could sell all of our shit to this one guy. He'll just have, he'll give us fuckloads of money, and it'll be fine." And so there would be no fighting. It would just be settled, and then it would just be there will be blood, but with sake
There will
and
be
silk.
sake.
There will be sake. Exactly. So
There will
I
be
would have,
sake and silk.
I'd have Daniel Plainview, and that
Yeah.
would just be infinitely more interesting.
Yeah, no, I would watch that film. I would be much more interested in that film.
By the way, just for future,
Yeah.
it has to be a character, right? So it can't be, I'd like to hire in a composer to do the music properly. In this
No.
film.
We're not
Has to be
having any
character.
of that. No,
Okay, sorry. So I'm sorry.
it's a visual medium. theatre of the mind.
Okay, thank you. So, Jordan, would you stay indoors for this film?
This is a silly question, isn't it?
It is.
No, I would not stay indoors for this film. I would leave the house and find the director. Well, no, I'd leave the house. I'd find some way of travelling back in time and stop this film from ever being made.
I would first of all like
That's
to go.
a bit harsh. I wouldn't really do that, but I just wouldn't watch it.
I would leave the house, go to BFI, because the British Film Institute apparently are big in this film up.
Are they?
Yeah, because there was something
Fucking...
So I watched it on Amazon Prime, and it was on IMDb where it said, "Yeah, BFI fucking love this film."
This was on Amazon Prime.
I rented it.
Okay.
Yeah, but from Amazon Prime. But yeah, so it was like I'd go up to BFI and be like, "Yo, sort your shit out. If you think this is a good film, what are you saying? Like, because this is bollocks.
Doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Yeah, this is absolute bollocks." So
you would discredit this film.
Yeah. I'm saying, listen to this podcast where we tear it to shreds, and you'll see how bad this film is.
Yeah.
Just by the things that we say.
Yeah.
Actually, open your ears and listen to the bloody music.
Yeah.
And then I would just stay outdoors. I would just stay outdoors and just stop myself from even being indoors with the possibility of watching this film. You'd have to pay me money to watch this film.
Yeah. I'd actively run away from any screens just in case it came on.
Yeah. It's just
go
rubbish.
and find a field somewhere and just
We could
sit
probably
there.
make a drinking game out of it.
How so?
I don't know. Like
You can't start that and not have an idea. You can't just...
Well, I guess the whole point is like every time someone does something. So every time he scratches his chin.
Okay.
Every time an amount of money is suggested.
Yeah.
Every
Every time he drinks.
Yeah, and eats. Yeah. So already we're getting wasted by
Yeah.
halfway through the
It's the
film.
only way you're gonna be able to deal
I'm
with it.
pretty sure. But the thing is though is that the entertainment either needs to be bad enough or fun enough or entertaining enough that you can. The drinking game is not just for the sake of drinking; it's also for the sake of watching the entertainment. The entertainment is just draining. For me, it was just like it's taken too much for me to watch this film.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being Stalker drawn out, how drawn out is this film?
It's a different kind of drawn out, because Stalker drawn out is artistically drawn out,
Yeah.
whereas
being realistic, like the scenes and how drawn out it is, not the intention behind it, just how drawn out is it.
It's not nearly as bad as Stalker.
No, I would put it at a 6.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Definitely a 6. So the scenes are not nearly as drawn out. It's not.
I just wanted
painful.
to get that across because some people may still want to watch the film. It's not. I didn't feel so like tired after watching this film, and I did watch it after work. It wasn't like I came home and I watched the film. I didn't feel like I just had my soul sucked out of my body.
Mm-hmm.
I was just very much like, I really wish I hadn't watched that.
I actually preferred Stalker.
Wow.
This is how much I didn't like this film.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because there were still things that I liked from Stalker, whereas I'm almost certain there is almost nothing I like from this film. Because Stalker had like some artistically poetry things and like there was a question about the actual storyline, even and some of the really long drawn out shots were like, oh, okay, cool, I see what they're doing here. It's just really laboured, but I see what they're doing here. Whereas in Yojimbo, it's just like, no. Okay. So yeah, fuck this film.
Fuck the film.
And don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
Don't waste your time doing that, because
do
it's just not worth it.
Go outside
and watch something else in a cinema.
What are we watching next week, Kieran?
Next week we are watching Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes, we are.
So get yourself your maze kits and get ready for the labyrinth. Pan's Labyrinth.
Mazes are different from labyrinths.
Get your labyrinth kit.
I'm excited for this
and
one.
your frying pan.
I can't fucking wait.
Okay, well, go watch that one maybe. Okay, well, see you then.
See ya.
Bye.
Right then, children, sit down. We've reached the end of the podcast. No, time for the end of the podcast story.
But sir!
I don't want to hear it, young man.
Oh, but why can't we stay?
Because we've reached the end.
No.
Now, gather round.
How
and
can we find out more?
I will tell you. Gather round.
I'm gathered round.
Okay. Now, there once was a man who had a PC, or a Mac, or a phone, either Android or Apple.
Would you be able to say that he had any kind of internet device?
You would be able to say he was connected to the internet.
I
yes.
understand that concept, sir.
And he was able to get in touch with the guys from the podcast at 250 Reasons on all social media.
Yay!
What social media is that, class?
Social media.
Yeah, but what social media, class?
Facebook,
Twitter, Instagram. That's the one. There you go.
Oh.
And where could they listen to 250reasons@gmail.com?
Apple Podcast.
Yes. This is painfully slow.
Okay.
Come on, speed it up.
Stitcher, Acast.
Yes.
Podbean.
Yes, all those things.
YouTube, sir.
That's the one. Got you with my little tricks. Okay, so that's it. Bye.
Okay, bye.